So there's a question that I want to throw out there for you to ponder on for a second. And the question is minimalism any different than common sense? In regards to decluttering, is minimalism any different than common sense? To me, what's interesting about this question, or this unique dynamic between minimalism and common sense, is that at first glance, there isn't really much of a difference, right? But once you dive deeper into minimalism and what minimalism is about and decluttering and why decluttering is important, then we realize that there's a much bigger difference than we initially thought. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm challenging myself to live a higher quality of life, to have a more minimalist and intentional approach to the way that I live my life, to the things that I consume, whether it's the media or materialistic things or even my food choices, right? All the way down to my decisions and the actions that I take. And because of this, I've had plenty of conversations with people about minimalism and intentional living and decluttering, my poetry, right? And anything else that they can think of, especially how I'm changing the way that I think, right? And usually as these conversations are going on, the initial response that I get is, you're right. You know, we do hold on to a lot of things, Ron. We really do need to let go of this access in our life. You're right. We know we hold on to a lot of stuff. And my response to that internally is, you're right, but why don't we? See, common sense tells us that we have too much stuff and we have to do something about it. And the logical step would be to just donate these items, right? But see, many of us, including myself, and this is why I feel I can speak on this with some confidence, but many of us have tried or are trying to find any detour we can to avoid dealing with the excess in our life, to avoid taking these necessary steps. We're trying to avoid the process. But see, whenever we talk about dealing with the excess in our life, we always want to take the easy road. You know, we take all of that physical clutter in our space and we just stuff it in the closet, or we stuff it in the garage so we don't have to see it. The space under our bed becomes our second closet, right? We're suppressing our emotions, those emotions that we know we need to let go of. You know, where those thoughts, those decisions that are in our head, we're taking those things and we're pushing them to the far dark corner of our mind, just hoping that we forget about them, right? We're keeping those toxic friendships and relationships in our lives because it's what's comfortable. It's what we know, and it's the easiest thing to do. All of this is the easier thing to do. But see, when we give into the process, right? When we take minimalism as a tool and we allow it to help us, that's when we start to deal with some of those deeper issues of our clutter. We start to take action on some of those common sense thoughts and conversations that we've been having with ourselves every single day. But then the conversation becomes, you know, well, how do I give into the process? How do I give in to this process? And that really boils down to surrendering yourself to change and giving up control. And that is a completely separate conversation for another day, because surrendering yourself to change and giving up control is an extremely, extremely hard thing to do. But when you do it, it's a complete game changer for your life and for your journey. See, a lot of us are trying to force change to happen in our lives. We're trying to force change to happen to us instead of giving in to change, instead of giving up control and allowing change to happen with us, right? If that makes any sense. But like I said, that is a completely separate conversation for another time. But to answer today's question, is minimalism any different than common sense? The answer is no, but also yes. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think minimalism and common sense are different? Do you think they're the same? Do you take the same stance that I've took in this video? Do you have the same thought process as I do? Let me know in the comment section. But if you enjoyed this, make sure you give this video a thumbs up for me. If it's your first time tuning in and you also enjoyed this conversation and you want to join this community and grow with all of us here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video. And always remember, please always remember to stay true to you and your journey. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.